he has said, yes, there's the fight is on, but it's dependent on the president. What is your take on this? Looking at what has happened before, perhaps, you know, we had the evolution during Shagari's time, the ethical revolution. So talking about fighting corruption, in Buhari's first coming, war against indiscipline and corruption. Buhari's time, we have Mamsa, you know. Everybody will come. Now we have a presidential advisory on this corruption. How do you think we can move on from here to ensure that corruption is not being fought just on paper, but in actual fact?
Yeah, if one is to consider the issue of corruption, and we have a very long history, you know, of trying to, through state interventions, depending on whoever is heading the country at different points in time, whether it's under the military or under the civilian regime. If you are to look at the history of corruption, you will realize that it's quite organic. There's a way how corruption evolved and developed and has its own wings, flying on its own. And we have created a monster which we are now trying to tame, and we have continually tried to tame it. You just need to go back into history. We were not like that before. Ruling class was not as corrupt and as glutinous when it comes to public wealth as what we have now. But over the years, we have a situation where when the system starts failing, you know, and you start creating a situation of inability to pay salary, we had the military moving in, you know, and then doing things by fiat, destroying the structure, you know, that we had in place. They destroyed the civil service, the military did, and when they carried out the reforms and destroyed the civil service, all the checks and balances were gone. Things were being done by military fiat. Then we had new crop of civil servants emerging. Gradually, we stopped paying salaries as at when due, and then we now have a civil service where workers are anxious about their future. Gradually, we moved away from not paying salary to not paying pension. Even now, so many state governments, and including federal government, are owing pensions, you know, deductions. And then when you get to that stage, people start getting anxious about their future. What happens when I leave office? How would I be able to survive? And today, we have millions of pensioners who are being owed nothing less than 2 years pension. So how do they expect them to survive? So over a period of time, we develop a civil service more amenable to cooperate with the ruling class, you know, with a view to extorting some gains, you know, to secure their future. So there's a kind of organic ladder which we climbed to get to where we are. So we cannot pretend about that. What we have been doing, if you look at all state interventions right from Buhari's regime, you know, on war against indiscipline, ethical revolution, and all that, what we've been doing is we are trying to tackle corruption from the top. You know, we've not gone down below to create a new structure that will make it impossible, that will assure the security when you retire, so that you can have, you know, what you are due for. Today, how do you explain state governments not being able to pay salary? Today, even despite so many bailouts. So we have not developed a structure that will secure the future of our own people. Consequently, we have a civil service more amenable, you know, to corruption. Minor Gate is a typical example. No matter what, don't forget that the issue of the pension involved in Minor's case was police pension. The Nigerian Police Force pension. And despite that, our security agencies could not even arrest it because so many things were connected to it. So we also have the case of incompetence on our own part, particularly on the part of the federal government, because it cannot be explained. When you look at the Ikoyi Gate issue, I remember clearly that on May 9, 2017, Professor Bolaji Akiyemi, the former Minister of External Affairs, cautioned us against the part on making public the investigation into Ikoyi Gate. Now, what do we have? We have the DIG, okay, now the fall guy. But we all know that the facts surrounding that thing will never be made public. We are the only country, we are the second country in the world that will do this kind of thing, you know, carry out this kind of investigation into their foreign intelligence operations publicly, the way and manner we have done it. And consequently, that has damaged our security. don't forget we have spies all over Africa and in other countries. The penalty is there. So what is that? What have we done? The money was declared to be owned by NIA. So the federal government went to court, EFCC going to court to say the money should be forfeited to federal government. Nobody's challenging the fact that the money belongs to federal government through the NIA in the first instance. So when you look at the situation, apart from United States, when they did set up the Frank Churchill's, Senator Frank Churchill's committee to investigate the activities of CIA on assassination of foreign president, no other country has ever tried that, not even United States, because it was so damaging to the CIA operation. So what we have done currently is that we have fumbled from not tackling corruption right from the grassroots to even using the war against corruption to damage our intelligence operations, foreign operations. Today, many people will be very careful, to be an agent for Nigeria. To recruit future agents will become impossible. And consequently, and this is due to interagency rivalry, it is never done in any part of the world. There is a kind of even corruption within those agencies, fighting each other, over what? Not minding the national security. So as corruption is damaging, is ruining this country, so also corruption is ruining the institutions, meant to secure the country. So these are some of the issues which I think we need to begin to look at. You cannot fight corruption at the top. It has to start from below. You have to fight, you have to be tough on corruption, but you also must be tough on the causes of corruption.